as at last week, someone said he bought petrol at the rate of 9.90. Now it's 1,000 plus. So I think every day things is getting more expensive, because what you bought in market yesterday, you can't expect to see it at the same rate today.
As residents of Akure continue to contend with the rising cost of food items, they are not sure if the cost will obey the law of gravity anytime soon. Ayodeji Moradeyo, TVC News.
Let's turn attention to China, where President Bola Tinubu has called on global leaders to embrace multilateralism and reject protectionism as essential steps towards achieving lasting peace, security, and stability. President Tinubu addressed a high-level meeting on peace and security at the 2024 Forum on China-Africa Cooperation in his capacity as chairman of ECOWAS, Authority of Heads of State and Government. The president noted that the challenges facing today's world can only be addressed through partnerships founded on mutual respect, fairness, and inclusiveness. President Tinubu also restated Nigeria's commitment to promoting peace, good governance, and security across West Africa.
The president spoke like a true African leader. In every of his outings since he became president of Nigeria, and his also ascension as the chair of ECOWAS, he has consistently taken the message of Africa to the world. The FOCAC is not an exception. The president, although he's president of Nigeria, spoke for the entire Africa. He talked about the kind of vision that the foundation of the relationship between China and Africa has been to not just Nigeria, but to the whole of Africa. He talked about security, he talked about economic prosperity, he talked about investment, and all the areas that China and Africa have been sharing together for both of them to grow, not just as brothers, but also as members of this common humanity that we all talk about.
Still in Beijing, China, at the opening of the 2024 summit on FOCAC, President Bola Tinubu highlighted the significance of deepening economic cooperation and developing a comprehensive strategic partnership with China. TVC News State House correspondent Femi Akonde reports.
At this summit, China seeks to entice African leaders with more investment opportunities in exchange for better access to raw materials that Africa has in abundance. Here in Beijing, leaders of African countries meet and discuss policies and areas of mutual cooperation with officials from China, Africa's biggest lender and investor. President Bola Tinubu, as leader of the biggest economy in Africa, has his eyes set on increasing foreign direct investments and also strengthening existing bilateral ties with China.
What began as a China support for African nations' independence has evolved into a rich, multifaceted partnership spanning trade, investment, and diplomacy. Over years of our ties, we have been solidified.
Nigeria, under President Tinubu's leadership, already has an advantage with the elevation of ties with the People's Republic of China to a strategic, comprehensive partnership. The Nigerian leader commended the role of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation in advancing partnership for mutual development and prosperity.
We have been solidified. We share through high-level engagement, strategic agreement, and a shared vision of growth. China has consistently demonstrated its commitment to Africa, not only through financial and developmental support, but also through cultural exchanges that bring our people closer and closer together.
The bilateral relations between Nigeria and China were formally established in 1971, a decade after Nigeria gained its independence. Relations between the two countries have expanded to include bilateral trade and strategic cooperation, but the relationship has been lopsided, favoring China. This is what President Tinubu's new partnership with China seeks to balance. Femi Akonde, TVC News.
Still ahead on TVC News at 10. Nigeria Customs declares state of emergency in the Onne port in Rivers